Chapter 27. The Messenger. It took Sam and his family several months to adapt to their new home and to learn how to deal with the day and night on Proxima-b, and this was almost their biggest main challenge ever since they landed. It wasn't the only one, however. The inexperienced parents bore the burden of raising all their offspring alone, the shipborn and the newly proximal-born, there on a distant planet, without elders' assistance, friends or any other guidance, except for all the material they brought from Earth. Although it had all the knowledge they could ever dream about, for a young couple, especially in such a situation, it was never enough to cover the emotional support they needed. "Do you ever think or believe they survived?" Lara asked Sam one night after they put their kids to sleep while they were lying on the ground, gazing at the stars in the vast wide space, searching for any sign from the universe to give them hope. "I don't know, Lara," Sam replied briefly, without shifting his eyes from the spot he fixed his sight on. "I never stopped hoping that," he continued in despair before turning his head to glance at her while she examined the sky at the area where he was staring. She looked at him and suggested, "Can't we do anything to find out?" He stared at her thoughtfully before querying, "How could we?" She seated herself up as if his question triggered something in her memory, something that she suddenly remembered, and excitedly she exclaimed, "How could we? We have all the science and information humankind has ever acquired and possessed. We have our hands on all the achievements of humanity up to date." Her voice started getting louder while her excitement increased. "If anyone in this full universe could do anything, it is us, Sam." Surprise took him by that obvious fact as if he never was aware of it. He too seated himself up, leaning back on his arms, and went into deep thinking, analysing the whole situation. But that did not stop Lara from following up with her conversation, pursuing her idea. "Instead of gazing at the stars, we can build a huge telescope, and then we can see Earth." She paused when she noticed that Sam was not keeping up with her, and she was about to start turning mad at his inattentiveness, when he responded calmly, "But then we will be looking at Earth almost 4 years ago." He made that remark only to show his wife that he was listening, but actually, his mind was focusing on another utterly different approach. "I'm thinking, however, of something else." He then quickly quoted her exact words to cut her off. "Instead of just gazing at Earth, we can visit it." He shocked her with that thought she never expected and shrieked, "Visit? You mean to go back there?" Her eyes sparkled so intensely at the idea that they almost lit up the surrounding darkness. But her tone and words revealed her annoyance simultaneously, so he laughed out loud at his wife's crazy reaction before continuing, "Of course not, Lara. We are not going anywhere. Not that I do not want to, but I am just grateful enough that we were able to make it here and finally settle down after a 2-decade journey." She was staring at him, struggling to understand what he was proposing. And with his smile still covering his face, he continued, "We will build a robot and send him back." He just said it so simply, as if it was an easy task. But to his surprise, she jumped to her feet and shouted, "What are we waiting for then? Let's start." It was almost 25 years since that conversation first took place, and during that period, Sam and Lara, with the help of their grown-up kids and grandchildren, started building from scratch one of the most advanced robots ever made during the Earth era. With perseverance and the use of the latest technology humans have acquired, and thanks to nanotechnology, they were able to create a cutting-edge robot. It resembled Sam's appearance to a great extent with its metal form, and its core processor was a digital copy of Sam's mind. The robot, in brief, was his digital clone with artificial intelligence. They provided him with powerful nuclear and solar engines to enable him to self-charge and survive until eternity. His equipment included sophisticated propulsion and navigation systems to help him space travel for long distances without needing any carriers or vessels. They called him Sam. Sam, the clone, was a masterpiece with self-learning abilities. They uploaded him with all the information, sciences and data that left Earth aboard Noah's Ark 2. He then updated that with all the recent studies that his creators carried out on Proxima-b. All were hidden, encrypted and secured so that no one but Sam, the human himself, could override and bypass the clone's security system against the latter's will to unlock and reveal his secrets. Sam was a black box, and hacking him was considered impossible. His human makers intended so, with the fact that they would eventually die before he could make any journey and return to Proxima-b. "It is time for you to go, my friend," Sam farewelled his clone before setting him on his journey back to Earth. Sam, Lara and their family, Adam, Eve and their other born proximal offspring, watched Sam as he counted down his launching sequence before he released himself away from their planet and their sight. Sam's mission was not to revert to his creators with information or something, for it would be such a waste of their life work. They knew that Earth would take centuries, and even millennia to recover entirely, if it ever survived the disaster it faced. To them, it was obvious that Earth did not make it. Otherwise, there would have been any Earthling attempt to contact them. It was only almost 50 years since they last left Earth, and they would never waste another 40 waiting for their robot to return with the already known facts. When Sam finally reached his destination, Earth, he could not land on its annihilated surface, and he could detect no signs of any life form within the flames, fumes and fierce waves of boiling water. Sam gathered all this information and turned back to continue his quest. Sam instructed Sam to search for life among the circumstellar habitable zone and all other recorded systems across the galaxy that could support and sustain human life. Despite its inevitable doom, Sam had a slight hope that other survivors would find their way out of Earth. And that was the real mission for Sam to pursue, to find other humans and connect with them. That was Sam's message for the world, or what might have remained of it. Sam spent millennia looking for life in every recorded system in his database, and during his quest he located other unrecorded and undiscovered systems that were disappointingly not habitable. However, at every system he visited, including the solar system, he planted a microtransmitter programmed to send him signals for any signs of vital activities that could appear in such systems one day. Sam's exploit was almost over, and he was heading back again towards Proxima-b after nearly 100 millennia. As he was approaching the Alpha Centauri system, and while he was getting prepared to enter its sphere of influence, his detectors announced the presence of some vital signals. 2 of them were coming from the nearest planets to his position, Proxima-b and Alpha Centauri BC. At the same time, the third was being transmitted from one of his transmitters that he planted on a significant planet in a distant system, on Earth.